Most men over 60 don't realize this, but your body gives you quiet warnings every single morning about your sexual health. And if you miss them, ignore them, or chalk them up to just aging, you could be heading straight toward something no man wants to face: complete erectile dysfunction. I'm Dr. Blake Morgan, a board-certified urologist with over 30 years helping men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond restore their erections, boost testosterone naturally, and get their confidence back without dangerous drugs or surgery. Most of what men blame on age is actually about habits and ignored warning signs, many of which start showing up the minute you wake up. If you're ready to take control of your performance, energy, and vitality, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. And leave a quick comment below. Type 1 if you still get morning wood, 0 if you don't. No shame, just awareness. All right, let's break down the 5 morning signs your penis might be shutting down and what you can do to stop it. Morning sign 1. You no longer wake up with a morning erection. Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you woke up with a morning erection? If you're over 60 and can't remember, or it's been weeks, or even months since it happened, that's not just a small thing to ignore. It could be the very first warning sign that something important inside your body isn't working the way it used to. Now I know what most men think. It's normal at this age. I'm not 25 anymore. Why does it matter if I don't wake up with an erection? But here's the truth most guys never hear. Those early morning erections are one of your body's most honest health signals. It's like your system running a quiet test overnight to make sure your blood flow, hormones, and nerves are all still in sync. You see, while you sleep, especially during the deep dream phase, your body naturally increases its testosterone levels. That's the key male hormone that drives energy, confidence, and of course, sexual function. When everything's working right, that rise in testosterone helps increase blood flow to the penis during sleep, which is why men often wake up with firmness, even without any sexual thoughts. But if that signal disappears, if you're waking up soft every day, it could mean your testosterone has dropped, your blood vessels are starting to stiffen, or your nerves aren't sending the right messages anymore. It doesn't mean you failed as a man. It just means your body is whispering something important. And if you listen now, you might avoid a real crisis later. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Bruce. He's 66, a retired firefighter, strong and stubborn like many of the men I work with. He came into my office because his energy was down and his confidence in the bedroom had started slipping. But what really bothered him was that he couldn't remember the last time he had a morning erection. It had been at least 8 or 9 months, maybe more. He figured it was just aging. But I saw it differently. We ran a few simple checks and the truth came out. His testosterone was much lower than it should have been, his cholesterol was high, and his blood pressure was slowly climbing. All of those things affect blood flow and sexual health. His body wasn't broken, it was backed up and under pressure. So we didn't reach for pills. We made 3 changes. First, we had him cut out his evening glass of whiskey. It was small, but it was messing with his deep sleep and hormone recovery. Second, I told him to get outside in the morning light, just 20 minutes within an hour of waking, to help restart his body's natural rhythm and testosterone production. And third, we added a few key nutrients through food, things like pumpkin seeds and spinach that are rich in minerals his body needed. Within 6 weeks, Bruce sent me an email that simply said, "It's back." He was waking up with erections again. They weren't perfect yet, but they were strong enough to show that his system was coming back online. And more importantly, he said he felt like himself again. That's the power of listening to your body early, before things get worse. So if you've stopped waking up with morning wood, don't brush it off. Don't assume it's just part of getting old. It's a signal, a very real, very important sign that your hormones, your circulation, or your nerve function might be slipping. And the sooner you take action, the better your results will be. If you catch it early, it's reversible. But if you ignore it, you may wake up one day and realize that part of your life is gone, not from age, but from inaction. Let's move on to the second silent morning sign that most men miss, and this one hides in plain sight every single day. Morning sign 2. You feel tired, foggy, or unmotivated right after waking up. If you're waking up every morning feeling groggy, mentally slow, or like you need 3 cups of coffee just to get going, that's not just about bad sleep. It could be a deeper sign that your hormones, especially testosterone, are running low, and your sexual system is suffering quietly in the background. Here's what most men don't realize. Your energy first thing in the morning is one of the clearest reflections of how your body is operating overall. You're supposed to wake up with drive, not just the kind of drive for work or goals, but the biological kind that makes a man feel like a man. You should feel sharp, alert, and physically on. But if instead you feel sluggish, heavy, or like your mind is in a fog, that's often a sign that your testosterone levels dipped too low during the night, or worse, never rose in the first place. Let me explain this in a way that makes sense. During sleep, particularly the deep stages, your body repairs itself, recharges your brain, and produces most of your testosterone. That's why morning energy and morning erections often go hand in hand. When testosterone is high, your brain feels clearer, your body feels more responsive, and you naturally feel like taking action. But when testosterone is low, your motivation drops, your thoughts get cloudy, and your body feels slow to respond, even if you slept 8 hours. I once worked with a man named Dennis. He was 72, retired, and living what he called a comfortable life. But he had a problem. Every morning he felt like he was climbing out of mud. He said it took him hours just to switch on. No energy, no spark, no desire to do much of anything. And yes, he also hadn't had a solid erection in years. He wasn't depressed. He wasn't sick. He just felt like the light inside him was fading. We ran a few simple labs, and there it was. His testosterone was down at 240. That's well below healthy for a man his age. And it explained everything: the fatigue, the brain fog, the loss of drive. But here's the hopeful part. We didn't need to jump into testosterone replacement. We started with natural changes that any man could try. First, we fixed his sleep routine. He had a habit of watching TV late at night with the lights on full blast. That blue light was destroying his melatonin and messing up his deep sleep, which meant his body wasn't producing testosterone correctly. So we switched him to dim lighting after 8 p.m., no screens 30 minutes before bed, and a magnesium-rich snack like almonds or a banana. That alone improved the quality of his sleep within a week. Next, we added some morning movement, just walking outside for 15 minutes, which helps regulate the body's internal clock and support healthy testosterone rhythm. And finally, we improved his breakfast. He used to eat toast and jam. We replaced it with eggs, spinach, and a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, foods rich in the exact nutrients your body needs to make testosterone naturally. Within 3 weeks, Dennis told me he was waking up earlier without an alarm and actually wanted to start his day. The fog was lifting, his mind was clearer. And yes, for the first time in years, he started waking up with firmness again. That's how connected your energy, your brain, and your sexual health really are. So if your mornings are filled with low energy, dull thinking, and no motivation, don't write it off. That's not just aging. That's your body sending you a message. A quiet one maybe, but an important one. Because once your testosterone drops far enough and stays low for long enough, it's much harder to bring it back. But if you act now by cleaning up your sleep, nourishing your body right, and getting sunlight and movement early in the day, you can revive the natural hormone rhythm that powers your energy, your confidence, and your performance. Up next, we'll look at another morning warning sign that's even more overlooked, but equally powerful. And this one shows up when you step into the bathroom. Morning sign 3: weak or slow urine flow. When you first wake up, you shuffle into the bathroom first thing in the morning. You stand there, and then nothing. Or maybe a weak, slow trickle that takes forever to start and feels like it never fully finishes. If that sounds familiar, it's not just annoying. It could be one of the most overlooked signs that your sexual health is slipping behind the scenes. Here's why it matters. Your urinary health and your erectile function are deeply connected. Most older men don't realize this, but the same plumbing that helps you pee also controls your ability to get and stay firm. And when your urine stream slows down, especially in the morning, it's often a red flag that your prostate is starting to swell or that your blood flow down there is being compromised. Let me break this down in plain terms. As you get older, your prostate, a small gland that sits right below the bladder, can begin to grow. This is common but not harmless. When the prostate gets larger, it presses on the urethra. That's the tube that carries urine out of your body. And when that happens, your urine stream weakens. But it also creates tension in the entire lower region, making it harder for blood to move in and out of the penis. That means erections become weaker, shorter, or harder to achieve. One system directly affects the other. There's also another layer. If your morning flow is weak or interrupted, it often means your body is inflamed, not just your prostate, but your whole vascular system. And when inflammation builds, it damages the tiny blood vessels and nerves that control erection strength. It's like trying to pump air through a narrow, clogged hose. not much is going to happen. I remember working with Leonard, a 70-year-old retired mechanic. Tough guy, worked with his hands all his life. But he came into my office frustrated. He told me, "Doc, I stand at the toilet for 30 seconds just trying to get started. And when I do, it's like a leaky faucet. I've got no power down there." He was embarrassed to admit it, but he also said his erections were nearly gone. His confidence was shot, and he felt older than his years. We didn't jump straight to medication. Instead, we looked at what might be fueling the inflammation. Leonard was eating a lot of processed foods, white bread, fried meat, and sugary snacks at night. His sleep was poor, and he was drinking a couple of beers most nights, thinking it helped him relax. But all of those habits were squeezing his prostate and slowing his blood flow. We cleaned up his diet, swapped fried foods for baked fish and leafy greens, got him off the sugar, added a prostate-friendly supplement with zinc, saw palmetto, and pygeum. And most importantly, we had him do a 5-minute stretching routine every morning that focused on relaxing the pelvic floor muscles. After just a few weeks, he noticed something incredible. He could urinate with less effort. The stream was stronger. He stopped feeling like he needed to go right after he'd just finished. And best of all, his confidence in the bedroom came back, not because of a magic pill, but because we addressed the root cause. So if your morning bathroom routine feels frustrating, slow, or incomplete, that's not something to ignore. That's your body sending you a signal. It's not just about peeing, it's about your circulation, your nerves, your hormones, and your long-term sexual health. Don't wait until it becomes a crisis. Weak morning flow is your early warning. Listen to it, take it seriously, and start taking steps now, because everything down there is connected. And next, we'll explore a fourth morning sign that might seem unrelated at first, but it's a major clue that your manhood is quietly under attack. Morning sign 4, no spontaneous or morning erections anymore. This one might feel uncomfortable to talk about, but it's one of the most important signs your body gives you. And ignoring it could mean missing the first warning your erection strength is in trouble. Here's the truth. Healthy men, even in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, should still wake up with occasional morning wood. It doesn't have to be every single day. But if you've gone weeks or even months without a firm, natural erection first thing in the morning, something deeper is going on inside your body. Let's talk about why this matters so much. Morning erections, called nocturnal penile tumescence in the medical world, are your body's natural way of checking the plumbing. While you sleep, your brain goes through cycles. And during the deep REM sleep phase, blood gets sent to your penis automatically. It's a healthy, normal response that helps keep your tissue oxygenated and your function strong. Think of it like maintenance for your manhood. If you're not getting those nighttime erections anymore, your body might be quietly struggling with low testosterone, poor blood flow, or even nerve damage. Now, most men think, well, I'm older, this is just part of aging. But I'll tell you as a urologist with over 30 years of experience, age isn't the problem, neglect is the problem. I once worked with a man named Paul. He was 68 and didn't smoke, didn't drink heavily, and stayed active. But he came in concerned not because he had pain or trouble urinating, but because, as he said, "Doc, it's like everything just went quiet down there. No more morning wood. It's like my body shut off." He assumed it was normal for his age, but I knew better. So we ran some simple labs. His total testosterone had dropped to 280, very low for optimal function. But even more telling, his free testosterone, the kind your body actually uses, was barely 4 ng/dl. Combine that with slightly elevated blood pressure and signs of early insulin resistance, and it was clear. His body wasn't giving his penis what it needed. We didn't jump to injections or pills. We started naturally, better protein at breakfast, more magnesium and zinc, and a focus on deep, quality sleep. I also had him start taking a short walk in the sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up, because that helps reset the circadian rhythm, which is tightly tied to testosterone production. And guess what? After 5 weeks, Paul came back and said the magic words, "Doc, I woke up with one again." That one sentence told me everything. His body was healing. The machine was starting to work again. And more importantly, he felt alive again. So if you haven't had a natural erection in the morning for a while, don't panic. But don't ignore it either. It's like your body's report card. It's letting you know whether the hormonal engine, the blood flow system, and the nervous wiring are still working. When you fix the root causes, like inflammation, hormone imbalance, poor sleep, or nutrient deficiencies, those morning signs often come back on their own. And that's a powerful signal of healing and recovery, even after 60. Next, we're going to look at one final morning sign, one that's often brushed off, but could mean your sex drive is running on fumes. This one's about more than the body. It's about the mind. Morning sign 5, you wake up with zero desire or motivation. Let me ask you something personal. When you open your eyes in the morning, do you feel even a flicker of desire? That quiet mental spark that says, I'm still a man, I still want intimacy, connection, closeness. If that inner drive feels completely gone, not just physically but mentally, it's a red flag. Because while sex might start in the body, the first place it actually shows up is in the brain. And when your morning mood, thoughts, and emotions are totally flat, it's often the earliest sign that your testosterone is running low, or worse, that your body has adapted to surviving without it. See, libido, that natural male drive, isn't just about getting an erection. It's about feeling like a man. It's waking up with energy, with presence, with purpose. When your testosterone is healthy, your brain produces more dopamine, the motivation chemical. You feel sharp, confident, even slightly flirtatious. But when testosterone starts to fall, especially in men over 60, that sense of drive gets replaced with disinterest. You might still love your partner. You might still value intimacy, but the desire just isn't there, and most men ignore this sign because it's not as physical. There's no pain, no urgent bathroom visits, no clear symptom. It just creeps in quietly, day after day, until you start to believe this is just how life is now. Let me tell you about Anthony. He was 73, retired professor, well-read, intelligent, and deeply in love with his wife. But he came into my clinic not because of physical ED, but because he said, I feel disconnected. I don't think about sex anymore. It's like that part of me went asleep. We checked his labs. His total testosterone was in the low 300s. But more importantly, his bioavailable testosterone, the kind your tissues can use, was barely above clinical deficiency. His vitamin D was also low, his cortisol, stress hormone, was elevated in the morning, and his sleep was shallow. He wasn't broken. He was just depleted, so we started small. I had him take 30 minutes outside every morning, right after waking. This helped reset his circadian rhythm, lowered his cortisol, and boosted his natural testosterone cycle. We added a natural testosterone support stack: vitamin D3, ashwagandha, and fenugreek. He cut out sugar before bed, started walking after dinner, and practiced one 5-minute breathing technique every night to lower stress. In just 6 weeks, Anthony came back and said this: It's strange, I feel like I want to reach for my wife again. I'm thinking about her differently, and I'm waking up not just with erections but with interest again. That's what we want. So if your mornings feel dull, disconnected, or emotionally flat, don't ignore that. It might not be about your relationship, it might be about your hormones. And it's not too late to change it. You can bring your energy back, your confidence, your spark. You don't need to accept the idea that after 60, men just stop wanting sex. That's a myth. The truth? Your body is still capable, it just needs a little help remembering who it is. If any of these signs felt familiar today, don't wait or brush them off. Talk to your doctor, get your hormones checked, and start making small changes now. And to keep learning how to protect your sexual health after 60, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. I share easy, science-backed tips every week made just for men like you. If you found this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback means everything to me and helps make these videos better. Remember, your best years aren't behind you. They're waiting right now. In every morning you wake up with strength, confidence, and desire. Thanks for watching, and as always, I've got your back.